How did an NBA coach become one of America's most recognizable leaders on gun reform? This is the genesis of Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr has been a college basketball star, an NBA champ as both player and coach, a respected TV announcer, even a front office GM. He's worn every hat you can wear in the basketball world, but he's increasingly becoming most famous for something that has nothing to do with basketball. Kerr has become one of the most outspoken voices in sports when it comes to America's gun laws. Practically every time a mass shooting occurs, Kerr can be counted on to speak up, most recently in the aftermath of the tragic school shooting in Parkland, Florida.
Well, nothing has been done. It doesn't seem to matter to our government that children are being shot to death day after day in schools. It doesn't matter that people are being shot at a concert, at a movie theater. It's not enough, apparently, to move our leadership, our government, the people who are running this country to actually do anything. That's demoralizing.
You see, for Steve Kerr, the fight against gun violence isn't just political, it's personal. Steve Kerr was born in one of the last places you might expect an NBA star to be born, in Beirut, Lebanon. That's because Kerr was the son of Malcolm Kerr, an American college professor who was an academic expert on the Middle East. The Kerr family's connection to the region goes back decades. Kerr's grandpa was a humanitarian worker who saved women and children during the Armenian genocide. Kerr grew up in the Middle East, in Lebanon mostly, but he also went to school in Cairo and traveled throughout the region. During his high school years, Kerr played basketball stateside in Los Angeles. He was a gifted player and went to the University of Arizona to play under legendary coach Lute Olson. Then, in early 1984, his father Malcolm was assassinated by jihadists outside his office at the American University of Beirut. To this date, there is not a clear consensus on the motive behind Kerr's murder. In the aftermath of his father's death, basketball became Kerr's sanctuary. Looking back on his grieving process years later, Kerr said, "Obviously basketball wasn't more important. It was just cathartic for me to play." And play Kerr did. He followed up 4 great years at Arizona with 15 more in the NBA, winning 5 titles with the Chicago Bulls and San Antonio Spurs. Basketball has continued to be Kerr's life even after his retirement. First as a TV analyst from 2003 to 2007, then as the GM of the Phoenix Suns from 2007 to 2010. After Phoenix, he returned to the booth for another announcing stint. Then, in 2014, he took over as head coach of the Golden State Warriors, the job he still holds to this day, with 2 more NBA rings to show for it as well. Still, through it all, Kerr's political activism has been inseparable from his public persona. Said Kerr in 2016, "I really realized I could use my experience as a kid and growing up to my advantage as a coach." When the Warriors visited the White House in 2015 as NBA champs, Kerr went out of his way to compliment President Obama on his fight for gun reform. In addition to routinely speaking out for gun safety, in recent years Kerr has become comfortable speaking out on a host of other hot-button issues, like defending the rights of athletes to protest during the national anthem, or defending immigrants from the racist rhetoric of Donald Trump. To that last point, he even directly invoked his father's memory in response to the president's effort to ban travelers from 7 majority Muslim nations in 2017, saying,
Someone whose family member was a victim of terrorism, having lost my father. If we're trying to combat terrorism by banishing people from coming to this country, by really going against the principles of what our country's about and creating fear, it's the wrong way to go about it. If anything, we could be breeding anger and terror, and so I'm completely against what's happening.
In 2018, the Golden State Warriors are once again the cream of the NBA's crop. But as their head coach has proven over and over, you can leave a legacy behind that transcends any box score.